After the car accident, I pretended to have amnesia to amuse my husband and son. Who are you? My son's eyes flashed with a hint of joy. And he led the woman standing outside the ward in. He said to me, "Andy, my parents and I are here to visit the patient." My husband, who was standing by, said nothing and acquiesced to his son's address. "Andy, my parents and I are here to visit the patient." The sweet voice of the baby echoed in the ward. I had a bandage on my forehead, and I looked down at my 5-year-old son Lucas, who was holding one of them in each hand, with a sly smile on his face. Ethan, who was in a suit and tie, had no intention of correcting his son's address, but looked at me with a hint of inquiry. The woman led by Lucas was wearing a white long dress. She had an elegant and gentle temperament. At this time, she was a little embarrassed when I looked at her, so she tucked her hair behind her ears. Lucas saw me staring at Claire and stood in front of Grace vigilantly as a protector. If I really had amnesia, I would really think that the people standing in front of me were a loving family of 3. Lucas tugged at Ethan's hand and whispered, "Dad, since Mom has lost her memory, can you guys get a divorce?" Although Lucas spoke in a low voice, he controlled the volume so that I could hear him clearly. I know his little tricks. He is punishing me because I said a few words to him yesterday and made him lose face in front of the servants, and he got angry. This is Lucas's usual prank, and he takes pleasure in punishing me. But I don't want to play his pranks with him anymore. Since I said I have lost my memory, I will continue to pretend. Pretend that there is no such son, no such husband. "Excuse me, who are you?" Lucas was a little surprised, and there was a little panic. "Do you really not remember me? You can't possibly not remember me. I am your favorite child." Ethan frowned. His clear eyes turned cold and his voice was impatient. "Naomi, stop pretending. The doctor said it was just a mild concussion. Not serious. Don't think you can escape divorce just because you have lost your memory. That's right, stop pretending. You love us so much, how could you forget us?" Lucas' cold and stern look was exactly the same as Ethan's, and I just felt a headache. Before I could say anything, the nurse at the door knocked. "The patient needs to rest. Please leave if you are not necessary." Ethan and Lucas took Claire away. Without saying anything, the nurse came in and said to me, "Your husband just came and is going out to buy you some porridge." My husband? I was confused. "Didn't you just kick my husband out?" The nurse blinked. "Yes, I was in the obstetrics and gynecology department for years ago, and I saw you several times. You are so beautiful, it's really hard to forget. I did have a prenatal checkup in this hospital for years ago, but Ethan never came to accompany me." The nurse and your husband is one of the few people who didn't play with his phone during the whole process. He was anxiously waiting at the door for you to finish the checkup. He is tall and handsome, and he is so careful and loyal. At that time, we the nurses believed in love again. By the way, who are the 2 of you? They are handsome, but their faces are as dark as if they are debt collectors. I couldn't help laughing. Ethan had never come to any of the 14 prenatal checkups. The one who came with me was Ian. He is my younger brother who is 5 years younger than me. He was just 18 years old at that time. I didn't explain the relationship between Ethan, Lucas, and me. After all, we will have no relationship soon. After a while, Ian came in panting with a lunchbox. I was already hungry. I hadn't eaten all day and my stomach was aching. Ian quickly opened the porridge and put it on the small table. He arranged the spoon, napkin, and water cup neatly. "This is warm water. And this is your favorite preserved egg and lean meat porridge. Eat first, I'll peel the eggs for you." I accepted his care with peace of mind. Since I first saw Ian, brought back by my grandfather when I was 15 years old, he automatically became my most loyal servant. After eating a few mouthfuls of porridge, I felt my stomach ache eased. As soon as I looked up, I saw Ian's eyes were red. You don't know. I was scared to death. When I heard that you had a car accident. His lips trembled and his voice was a little choked. My nose suddenly surged with a bit of sourness. Who wouldn't be afraid of a car accident? I was just lucky and didn't hurt anything vital. I was afraid that Ethan and Lucas would worry. So, I thought of pretending to have amnesia to tease them. But how could a heartless person worry about me? I was discharged from the hospital in a few days. I insisted on explaining to the doctor that, except for Ethan and Lucas, I couldn't remember everything else. After being discharged from the hospital, the doctor told Ethan that it was a temporary amnesia caused by concussion, and he would slowly remember it after recovery. I returned to my home with Ethan. Beautiful piano music came from the living room. Claire and Lucas played a four-and duet. Claire gave a thumbs up. And our little pianist is really amazing. Lucas blushed, and you are the one who taught him well. A picture of a loving mother and a filial son. I walked upstairs without changing my expression. When Lucas saw me, the smile on his face disappeared. Claire stood up quickly. Naomi, how are you? I stood on the stairs and nodded to her. I am almost well. You can continue. I don't hate Claire, I just envy her. Claire is not the third party in my marriage with Ethan. She is Ethan's unforgettable first love. Although Ethan and I are married, there is a saying that is very true. The third party is the one who is not loved. When Ethan was 18 years old, the year when he was in his prime, I saw Ethan fall in love with someone so passionately. For the first time, last month Wen's declared bankruptcy, and Claire was forced to return home. Claire used all her savings to fill the gap of Wen's debt. But it was not easy for her to find a high-paying job in China as a music major. Ethan found her and asked her to be Lucas' piano teacher. $600,000 a month. New mother is so nice. I love new mother the most. Lucas said loudly in the living room. Lucas, I'm not. Don't call me that anymore. Claire looked at Lucas awkwardly. Lucas was a little dissatisfied with her address and hugged Claire's thigh affectionately. If you call me Lucas again, I will be angry. You should call me Lucas, baby. You are much gentler than my mother. I like you the most. He glanced at the bedroom upstairs, and seeing that I hadn't come out yet, can you live in my house? I want to see you as soon as I wake up. My father has agreed. Why don't you live in my house? My house is so luxurious. You can have whatever you want. Ethan actually proposed to Claire to live here. There are many rooms and she doesn't need to run around. Not to mention that Claire is penniless now. But Claire insisted on renting a house outside and rejected Ethan's proposal. Lucas, baby, you should continue to practice today's piano piece. Lucas shook his head and was determined to let her live at home. Are you afraid of my mother? Don't worry, my father and I will protect you. She listens to my father and won't do anything to you. Lucas is my son. He is very smart. He knows best what to say to poke my pain point. I put on my pearl earrings and walked out slowly. Seeing me coming downstairs, Claire was a little embarrassed. Naomi, it's okay, Claire, you can stay here. I know. It takes you 3 hours to take the bus every day. I took the shoes handed to me by the servant. You don't have to feel psychologically burdened. I'm also very happy that you can come back. Lucas was a little surprised and stunned. In the past, if Dad called out the name Claire when he was drunk, Mom would cry with red eyes. Yes, Claire's visit to his house last month was not the first time Lucas and Claire met. He secretly saw the carefully preserved photos of women in Dad's drawer, as well as the names of other women. He muttered when he was drunk. This made him find the best killer to punish Mom. But now this killer is ineffective. I want to eat ice cream. Bring me 2. No, I want to eat 10. The only response to him was the sound of me closing the door. He was unkempt every day during the hospitalization. He was finally discharged from the hospital and had to go to the beauty salon for skincare. The driver had been waiting outside for a long time, and Lucas, inside the door, put away the expression on his master. The ice cream is here. The servant hurriedly took it out of the refrigerator. Who wants to eat it? He threw the ice cream on the ground. He stared straight at the closed door. Did Mom really forget him? Ethan's mother, Grace, knew that Claire had returned to China, and that Ethan had asked her to be Lucas' piano teacher. So she rushed over with several bags of luxury goods. On the sofa, the elegant lady held Claire's hand. Claire, good child, you have suffered so much. If you had been with Ethan at the beginning, Ethan would have helped to manage the one group. So how could your family go bankrupt now? Claire was a little panicked. Auntie, you can't say that. The past is a foregone conclusion. Now that Ethan is willing to give me a job, I am very grateful to him. What can't be said. I am relieved to leave Lucas to you now. Grace patted her hands with satisfaction. Grace whispered, Ethan is going to divorce. Did you know? He wants to divorce as soon as you come back. Doesn't this mean anything? Don't worry, Leon, Jojo likes you very much. You won't be wronged in our family. And Ethan will help you when family turn things around. Grace didn't tell me to entertain her when she came, even though she knew I was at home. I was very tactful and didn't come out to disturb them, to reminisce about the past. Not only Ethan but Lucas also likes Claire. And Ethan's mother, Grace, also likes Claire very much. Early before Ethan and I got married, Grace wanted Claire to be her daughter-in-law. Claire is from a scholarly family, and she is a good match for the Pei family. It just so happened that Ethan fell in love with Claire at first sight, and Grace was even more delighted, and immediately thought about preparing for the marriage between the two families. Unfortunately, Claire didn't like Ethan, decisively rejected Ethan's confession, and went abroad to continue her music studies. Although Grace felt a little regretful, she liked Claire more, and felt that she was a girl with ideas and pursuits, and I, born in a small family, was vain and greedy for wealth and glory, and I would do anything to marry Ethan. I could see that Grace actually disdained me, and even hated me, but her good upbringing prevented her from showing it too obviously. Sometimes I thought, if Claire had married Ethan from the beginning, it would have been a happy ending for everyone. My phone vibrated and I opened it. The text message reminded me that the accident insurance compensation for the last car accident had arrived. I thought I would slowly forget what happened on the day of the car accident because of fear. However, when I closed my eyes, everything seemed like yesterday. It was raining heavily that day, and Ethan and I were on the highway. Someone called Ethan, and I could hear the voice on the other end of the phone. Clearly Ethan. A group of debt collectors are going to the one family to cause trouble. They are going to trouble the eldest daughter of the one family. Ethan glanced at me sideways. I knew that he was not asking for my consent, but telling me that he was going to the one family to find Claire. The current direction is the opposite direction of the one family. I whispered, please leave me at the service area in front. I will take a taxi back by myself. As soon as I got off the car, I was still soaked. Even though I quickly opened my umbrella, the black Bentley whizzed past me, splashing water all over my face, and my rusty feelings met the rainy day again. However, the car I took skidded on the highway because it was old. The moment the car lost control, my whole body was hairy, and I quickly fastened the seat belt and the back seat. My heart was beating rapidly and my mind was blank. With a bang, my head hit the car window heavily. Under the violent impact, at this moment time seemed to slow down. My mind uncontrollably recalled my first half of life, but all the memories revolved around Ethan. When I was 10 years old, my parents gritted their teeth and took out a loan to buy a villa in the most wealthy and noble area in Beijing. And I met Ethan. My parents said that I must be careful to please him, saying that he is the prince of the Beijing circle. Ethan was very good looking, and I was willing to go and play with him. So I followed him around for 7 years. At the age of 17, I seemed to like Ethan, but he hated me. I loved him the most for a year, And I was called a dog by people in his circle. And people around me called me clown sister. At the age of 18, Ethan fell in love with Claire. I watched him circling around Claire behind him, and then watched him fall into depression. After a breakup, at the age of 21, Ethan got drunk and pressed me on the bed to kiss me. And he kept calling Claire's name. I should have pushed him away and slapped him. But my hand retreated. My father's company was unable to make ends meet, and needed a large sum of money. And being with Ethan was also the wish of my parents, and me for more than 10 years. I silently endured it, and Ethan called Claire's name for as long as he tormented me. Our affair was soon known to Ethan's grandfather. The Pei family has always been a very traditional family. He asked Ethan to marry me, and I got what I wanted and married Ethan. At the age of 22, I was pregnant. The baby was very troublesome. During this period, I had severe morning sickness, and the delivery was even more difficult. Memory is a kind of crisscrossing pain. When I opened my eyes again, I was lying in the ward. I felt uncomfortable all over, and had a splitting headache. At the age of 27, my son called Claire mom in front of me, in front of the bed, and my husband also acquiesced. I pretended not to care, but countless moments were hurting me. The person I was reluctant to lose was looking forward to my early departure. I chose to remain silent. Perhaps happiness did not belong to me. Will you speak ill of the person you love? I really want to ask Ethan and Lucas. But when they saw Claire, I think I already knew the answer. Ethan fell in love with Claire at first sight, and Lucas also liked Claire at first sight. This was the first time Lucas showed his love for someone else. People always stick to things they recognize at first sight. Lucas is becoming more and more like his father. In terms of appearance, personality, and hobbies, they like Claire. I never thought Claire was a third party, because from that night on, I stole what belonged to Claire. The reason why people suffer is that they pursue the wrong things. I think this marriage has come to an end. It's time to return Ethan and Lucas to Claire. In fact, Ethan drafted the divorce agreement on the day Claire came back. He had wanted to divorce for a long time, and then pursue Claire again. As he wished, I notified the Pei family lawyer, and went to Ethan's company. Together, I agreed to divorce. I looked at him calmly. Ethan was a little surprised. Lawyer Zhang handed each of us a divorce agreement. I quickly signed my name on the paper. Ethan paused when he was about to sign, and the fingertips holding the pen turned white. Lawyer Zhang hesitated and said, "Ethan, you can sign after you think it over." I know how Ethan feels. Maybe we'll have feelings for a dog. And I have been following him for 16 years. Lucas belongs to me. He looked at me with a tentative look. I nodded. I don't want either of them. He looked at me deeply again, trying to capture the sadness, grief, and reluctance he wanted to see on my face. But he didn't. He clenched the pen and signed his name with anger. I was only busy reading the property division document, and left Ethan's office very satisfied. In the empty and quiet office, Lawyer Zhang shivered, and felt that Ethan was emitting cold air all over his body. "Ethan, do you want to announce the news of your divorce from your wife?" "No, she is just throwing a tantrum." After saying this, Ethan seemed to be comforted by himself, and even his frown relaxed. "Don't let this leak out. Madam will come back on her own. She just lost her memory and forgot about me and Lucas. She loves me and Lucas so much she will remember soon. The doctor said that the memory loss is only temporary. When she remembers, she will definitely come back crying and beg me to get back together. This divorce is a punishment for her, forgetting us so completely. When she comes back crying and apologizes, I will forgive her and remarry her." Ethan's depressed mood instantly dissipated, and he took a sip of the coffee on the table. Lawyer Zhang was sweating profusely, and took out a tissue to wipe the sweat from his forehead. "The divorce agreement has been signed, and the property has been divided. Is Madam just throwing a tantrum? When I was about to leave, I thought I would be very sad. After all, this is the place I lived in for 6 years, but I felt relaxed as if I was free of shackles. I am no longer someone's wife or someone's mother. I don't have to please anyone anymore. And I don't have to worry about who doesn't like me anymore while they were both away. I called 3 trucks and spent tens of thousands of dollars to hire 3 Japanese moving companies. I packed up all my luxury bags, clothes, jewelry, and skincare products and took them away. I also took away my baking supplies, a cabinet of high-end dishes, and chopsticks that I carefully selected, a few pieces of furniture that I was used to using, and a lot of decorations that I bought. I even packed up some gifts that I bought for Ethan and Lucas at a high price. They didn't like them, and they were placed in the corner of the cabinet. Even if I took them away, they wouldn't know. In that case, I'd better sell them secondhand, so that they can still play to their final value. After all, we're divorced. If they see these unpleasant things again in the future, they will probably feel quite disgusted. There were a lot of things to pack up. Fortunately, I had booked 3 companies with enough manpower. All the things were packed and loaded. In less than 2 hours, the house suddenly became empty. When Ethan came back and saw it, he would definitely think that the house suddenly became clean and tidy. He never liked to put too many things in the house, but now they are finally gone. I was very considerate and left enough space for the hostess, who was about to move in. Before leaving the yard, I took one last look at the villa. I will never come back again. Aunt Jong stood at the gate and looked at me and wiped her tears quietly. Madam, are you really leaving? Aunt Jong has been here since I moved in. She is very good to me and treats me like her daughter. I think only Aunt Jong will really shed tears because of my departure. I held Aunt Cheng's hand with both hands and smiled lightly. You should congratulate me. This is a good thing for me. Ethan was very efficient and quickly divided the property. I used the change in my account to buy a large flat of 200 square meters that I had set my eyes on. Last month, the previous owner of this house immigrated, and it was already decorated in a French romantic style. I fell in love with it at first sight, and I didn't need to decorate it myself, and I could move in directly on the same day. I quickly signed the contract and asked the people from the moving company to move all my luggage over. I found a few organizers early on, and in half a day, my things were neatly and orderly stored. This money was well spent. I lay comfortably on the recliner in front of the French window, looking at the scenery outside the window. My life can finally start again. Ian quickly came over with a lot of bags. The first person I told after the divorce was Ian. I'd been used to it for so many years. No matter big or small, I will tell Ian, and he will stand by me unconditionally. Why did you bring so many things? I saw that he had brought a lot of things. The first meal in the new house must be eaten at home. I bought some vegetables. As he spoke, he put them neatly into the refrigerator. One by one, I bought fruits and milk. Now that the weather is cold, let them sit at room temperature before eating. And little housekeeper, I couldn't help but complain. But suddenly, I saw the box on the ground shook violently, and I was startled. Ian, the box is moving. Ian heard it and smiled. This is a gift for you. Come and open it. I was a little afraid, but I heard a slight cat cry. My eyes lit up and I trotted over. I carefully opened the box, and it turned out to be a golden tabby. I squatted on the ground and observed the cat carefully. The cat Ian chose was very affectionate and rubbed against my calf. My heart was about to melt because Ethan has my phobia. I never thought about raising a kitten, and the only one who knew that I liked cats was Ian. I hugged the cat and screamed, "Ian, you are just like a worm in my stomach." I played with it for a long time and named it Marshmallow. Ian quickly prepared the meal. Ian picked up a piece of sweet and sour pork ribs. "For me, you are alone tonight, okay?" He was a little worried about me, maybe afraid that I would not be able to let it go. After all, he liked Ethan so much before. Don't worry, I was the one who proposed the divorce. And I don't have any feelings for Ethan anymore. After the car accident, my mind suddenly became clear. It's amazing Ian looked at my relaxed expression and didn't seem to be fake. So he smiled with relief. I'm really happy that you can figure it out. It's Ethan who doesn't deserve you. Since you're divorced, do you want to go back to the company? Before I got pregnant, I helped my father manage the company. Later, when I got pregnant, my father handed the company to Ian, who was 18 years old and still on summer vacation. And the company's shareholders had many opinions. But it turned out that my father had a vision. In just 2 months, the company's turnover doubled or tripled. Later, Ian managed the company while attending school. And Ian also successfully jumped into the most promising business rookie. I really wanted to go back to the company, but I haven't worked for 5 years. Ian put down his chopsticks and looked at me. With your ability, you will get started quickly. Have you forgotten yourself? Shining in the business circle. My heart was pounding. I still remember the joy when I signed the first order in my life. I nodded and agreed to go back to the company. But 2 days later, it was my father's birthday and I went home with Ian. I told my parents nervously, I'm divorced. My father's face darkened, and he raised his hand to hit me. Dad, Ian shouted at him. My mother ran over to stand in front of me and hugged me. She said to my father in a choked, "What are you doing? We have ruined our daughter's first half of her life. She is an adult and she can make her own choices. Give her life back to her." Suddenly, countless grievances surged in my heart, and I hugged my mother and sobbed. My father's eyes were red, and he slapped himself hard with his hand. Dad is useless. He knew that the Pei family was a dangerous place, but he still let you get close to Ethan. I am the one who has no right to blame you. Mom pulled me to the sofa. Naomi, if you want a divorce, just get one. Mom and Dad have seen it all these years. Mom looked at Ian and me. Naomi, let Ian move to your place to take care of you. I think it's too much trouble for Ian. Besides, I'm such a big man, and I still need my brother to take care of me. I can take care of myself. As for the meal you cooked, it's good that you didn't poison yourself. My mother didn't comment. When it comes to cooking, I smiled embarrassingly. I love cooking and studying recipes. According to Ethan and Lucas, it's super dark cuisine. But fortunately, Ian loves to eat. So this hobby has been retained until now. At this time, Ian looked at me.